about to milk a yak right now, and she's extremely hairy. We can't really find her nipples. Shoot. Her nipples are a lot smaller than a cow's. Wow. Want to try, Alex?
Alright. I'm gonna rock this yak nip. It's because I need to lube up this nipple. I'm getting a little bit. There we go. I've got a, oh, I don't know, that's not a bowl of cereal. So I joined the father of this family to go out and corral these yaks and these horses back to the Gers, and I got this amazing footage of chasing these animals on the back of a motorcycle.
Mike is riding a motorcycle and I'm hanging out with my best friends who are eating my hair. So the things that we've been sleeping in are called Gers, and they're traditional nomadic. They're almost like teepees. There's usually families about 5 or 6 people, and they set these things up in about an hour and a half, depending on how many people you have helping you. And you have an oven in there, so it heats the place up really quickly, and it's really quite toasty. And then in the middle of the night when the fire runs out, it is just freezing cold in there. Apparently they're only like $2,000 US to have one of these things, and you can tear it down and take it wherever you want to go and move your family at any time. It's really cool. From there we drove off and we landed in this little village to pick up a 6th member of the team. We met a guy named Joe who was from London, who was a very intelligent and adventurous guy. Probably the most scenic part of Mongolia is this place called the Flaming Cliffs. It's like a junior Grand Canyon. 360 degrees of this fiery stone. That's the reason they call it Flaming Cliffs. Very, very picturesque. Very interesting to see this beautiful piece of nature right in the middle of the desert. So I love that.
So Ogie's being a wicked tour guide, and he's trying to take us the most interesting way back to our Gers after watching an amazing sunset. And now we've got a little bit of a situation.
After that, we went and checked out the
singing dunes. And this is like these rolling sand dunes, something you would see in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
Just directly behind the sand dunes are these massive snow-capped mountains. And it's probably the only place on the planet where you're ever going to be able to see that kind of geography. So it's a really, really cool contrast, feeling like you're in the desert, but at the same time you're in a bunch of snow-capped mountains.
That's something very, very unique to Mongolia. You don't see that type of landscape anywhere else in the world. Every time I climbed, I kept going backwards, and it took me particularly a long time to do it, and it seemed impossible, but I finally made it to the top of this thing.
We just hiked to the top of a massive sand dune in Mongolia, and it's so beautiful up here. But it was incredibly difficult to get up the sand dune. The sand kept on giving way underneath you like little avalanches. But if you want to get some good exercise on your trip, then I suggest you hike to the top of this. So that was super cool, and it was even more engaging to run down. Mike and Joe did a bit of a somersault all the way down and then kind of tackled each other. I think Joe took a whack to the forehead, but the footage turned out pretty funny from the GoPros. The following day we woke up and it was the first day that we experienced where it was actually hot out. So we went out and we all jumped on the back of these huge camels and we went for a trek out through the desert.
And the camels, Mongolian camels, are very interesting. They look like they're something straight out of Star Wars. They have random patches missing in their fur for no reason. And they're very smelly animals, they like to spit, but it was definitely a fun experience, my first time being on a camel.
They don't look like other camels that are, you know, thin-furred and long and lanky. These are like big, burly camels with two humps and great fur. Like, it looks like it came out of a Jim Henson movie. They look like puppets, but these camels were just as good as a horse, and if anything, even more comfortable because their humps act as like a natural saddle for you. So they're almost built for it.
And those things can just go forever. They have two massive humps with lots of water and fat and storage in there, so they're made to rip through the desert.
This is fermented camel milk. I'm very much under the impression that it doesn't get much more gangster than drinking fermented camel milk. So it's nice and thick.
Yo, tell me your stash.
Delicious.
Overall, Mongolia was something very special. It was landlocked, and as a result, very cultural and different compared to the other big cities that we were in, like Tokyo and Beijing. So it was our first kind of experience with Mother Nature and with the indigenous people, and I really enjoyed it. It's probably been the highlight of our trip so far.
And so if I can recommend a place for anybody to go to that is kind of off the radar and you're going to get an incredibly authentic experience, well, I strongly suggest you go to Mongolia because the place was incredible.
And now after Mongolia, we're heading back to China, down to Shanghai. So, see you later.